Today we are looking at a scenario where the Chicxulub Meteor doesn't hit the Earth. Now, today we are gonna be looking at the almost full filling of Europe. I know I said this like a million times, but this time it's real. Now, the first thing I'm gonna be talking about is that I needed to change Lebanon's color. Now, I know this is very sad, but very like it was very complicating to change its color, so I changed it to this dark blue, which I think complements it very well. The first thing we are gonna see is that this red lake team, I don't know what this lake name is. Well, they now completely surround the lake and they now look something like this. We now see that this Russian team they also expand by quite a lot and they take all of this land. We then see that the Ukrainians they also take some land and they take all of this. Boom and boom. We also see the Dark Prussians, they also take some land now. Well, a lot of land, but like, you know. And we also see the Moravians, they also take some land, but it's very minor. So they take all of this land, and the Prussians they take all of this land right here. We are going and also this Saint Petersburg team they also expand by quite a lot as they take all of this land. We are now gonna see a few countries forming up right here, and those are gonna be this dark cyan team right here in Ukraine and Belarus, and this, no, that's to be, and also this grayish cyan team, which is gonna be right here. No, that's too similar to the other one. Yeah, yeah, this one. No, they do not take land from Prussia. They take just this all of this. We are then gonna see that here in the magenta team there is gonna be a rebellion and it's gonna be here in Iran. These people in Iran they are treated like pigs. They hate the government, they are pretty much just, you know, in a very bad spot. So they start rebelling. The first one is here in the Persian Gulf, and also uh, and also a very small pocket in this major city right here. They will start slowly creeping up to each other, slowly creeping up to each other. They take this major city and they start going towards their uh you know towards their other pocket here. And they succeed. They obviously take all of this land. And we see the Magenta team they sign peace treaty and here it is. In this peace treaty we see that the Iranians they take all of this land, but the magenta countryans, yes, they can still use this. Uh, they can still use this port city as their own. We now see that the pink Azerbaijan country, they now land on the other side of the Caspian Sea, and they take all this land around this lagoon. Also, I always wondered why is there like a massive lake in here? Like what? Why? Like why is there a massive lake right here, which is not connected to the Caspian Sea? As you can see, it's not connected. Why? How? Well, they just take all of this land right here. We are also gonna see that the Persians, they also take some land, and it's gonna be all of this land right here, and they take this. We now also see that the Maroon Indians, they also take quite a lot of land, all the way from the Laminatulian colony all the way to here, and they also take this right here. Yeah, this. We also see that this science team, they also expand by quite a lot. They now border the Maroon country, and they take all of this land. And we then also see that this Bengalis, yeah, they also take quite a lot of the land. They now border the Philippines, and they take all of this land. We now see that we now see the first war, like first major war since the first Balkan War and the Red Sicilo and Lebanese War. And this is gonna be the war between the blue team and the brown China team. If I pull up their power rankings, we see that uh Blue Manchuria is sixth and Brown China is a honorable mention, and it's the first one, so they're probably 11th. And may I ask why is there war? And it's because there's some massive border skirmish right here, and eventually it leads to the blue blue Manchurian team. They declare war, but their capital city is pretty much on the border of the brown China team, and that's because they are going to be moving it, and they move it all the way to this city right here, to this one. We now go to the border skirmish. The border skirmish leads to the blue Manchurian king. They declare war on brown China. But brown China, they are smart about it. They already had their troops, so they start taking quite some land and almost encircle this peninsula right here. But we see Korea, probably the biggest ally of probably the biggest ally of Blue Manchuria. They join the war, obviously on the side of Manchuria. But this obviously leads to the Japanese. They they declare war on Korea because they have beef. I don't know why. They just have beef. But before that, we obviously see that, yeah, this we see this happening. Obviously, I mean, it's free land. Why wouldn't you take it? So they take obviously. We now can go to the actual war as the what do you call it? The Japanese, they take Hokkaido in a over in a few months, and they also take some of these lands, pretty much encircling their colony here in what do you call in Kamchatka. Yeah, Kamchatka. That's even worse. I guess I'm gonna keep this color. And they then also start going into Sakhalin. Obviously, there's not a lot of troops right there, so they take it in a few days. And they also take this island, which, well, clearly holds very, uh, very strategic uses. We now see that Blue Manchuria, they now finally start uh, mobilizing their military, and they start pushing China back all the way to their border, and they even start crossing it by not a lot, but definitely enough to like startle the brown Chinese, and they even siege this city right here. As we see that as the Kone in Sakhalin is now completely cut off the from the rest of these, they obviously take it. Well, they do not take it by force, obviously, because there is like no one there. There's one major city, and all the military has probably starved by now. But the brown Chinese, they make something very smart. So they start they start Kone, or I guess some of their military, they start sneaking up in these like discovered lands but unclaimed lands, and they come here and they start invading from the back, and they take all of this land and even reclaim some land from the Blue Chinese, and they encircle these troops. There's like many troops right here, like 50, no 50, like I don't know, 25% of the Chinese military, of the Blue Manchurian military, yeah. They also take this land. Well, they do not take it, but like it looks ugly on the map, and they don't, so they take it just for aesthetic purposes. We now see that the Koreans, they now make a naval landing on Japan. I'm gonna use the sign color because they are two very similar colors. They take this land in a few days, and also take this land back. They then also take this land, and they slowly but surely, well, that's not slowly, and then they also land here and almost cut off the rest of this peninsula on the Japanese islands. We now see that the Japanese, they start a naval landing in here in Blue Manchuria, and it is a massive, like the biggest win of the war for like both of the sides, because like they take one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight major cities with with like no effort at all. And we now see that Blue Manchuria, they are very like angry at the Koreans because they cannot do anything right here. They are like Italy in the Second World War, but they do encircle quite a lot of troops right here, and they wait, take them, and they also take these three major cities right here, and they obviously take this and uh, reclaim this. But and some forces finally start flooding into here. Uh, they 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 uh they reclaim the city, and they almost and they siege this city right here. But obviously that comes at a cost because they took military from here. So we obviously so we see that here they are pushed all the way to the border, and they are like almost cut off by like uh, by a few miles. They are still connected, and the brown Chinese they also take the city right back. They flood they absolutely run out of the blue Chinese country, but they are some of them are not fast enough. This is uh this is cut off, and they start sneaking up to the coast so they can get aid from Korea. They take this major city, and they start starving them alive right here. Like genuinely, this is horrifying, and they are not taking this. They are not taking the thing. They are just letting them starve alive, so they can just watch them in pain. They try to take some of this. Well, they do take some of this, though. The Japanese they then start taking these troops away from here, and they take some of these troops, and they push out the Koreans from the main Chinese island, and they also make a small landing right here, and they cut off a pretty large margin of their military right here. They take it, and then they also take this island right here. It is now that we see that Blue Manchuria and Korea they surrender, and here's the peace written. We see that the most land by far gained the Japanese, as they now have Hokkaido, Sakhalin, this part of Manchuria, and this what do you call it? And this Kone in Siberia, like Kamchatka. The Chinese are the Blue Manchurians. They do not get any claims or areas around here, and the Koreans uh, they lose their Kone, Hokkaido, and Kamchatka, but they do gain this island, and this small segment of this Japanese island. We then go here to the Irish. They now they now take some land. They now take a lot of land all the way to here, all the way to the Darn Gap, to where they cannot get to, and they also take some Mexican lands. We are then gonna see that some colonization here in America. The Saint Petersburgians they mostly just follow the Mississippi River, and they they make us agreement with the Italians that the Saint Petersburgians they get all the land to the Mississippi, or like uh, all the land near Mississippi, and the Italians they can claim whatever they want, and the Saint Petersburgians they will accept it. So the Italians they take all of this. The Spanish Portuguese they also take some land. They take all of they take quite a lot of land. They get all of this. I gotta find the right tool. This one. We now see that the Irish uh they take some of this land right here, like Toronto area, but they are getting quite big, so they will probably start getting so they will probably start like stop doing the colonizing. Mhm. We then also see that the Japanese they also take some land here and what do you call it? Here in Mexico. And they take all of this land. And this is I think where we can stop the video. Uh well, not yet. We are gonna see some expansion. First is gonna be this Ukrainian team, and they take all of one color. They take all this, and we then see that the I guess the Belarusians, yeah, I guess, they take all of this, and I think I can actually stop the video right here. So I hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Bye.